occupied, just secure 417, going to be at Saugus High School.
Do we have that active shooting?
The latest update, 6 to 8 shots, sir.
Multiple shots fired, possibly people down.
60 Sam is also en route. Update, several people down.
Just continuing fire on the scene. Multiple units responded from the sheriff's stations to assist. As a precaution, other schools in the area have been on lockdown.
Suspect description is it's a male adult wearing a black jacket.
Stand by, there's going to be a student in room M1304 that was hit in the abdomen. Once again, room M1304 that was hit in the abdomen.
So I figured maybe he just dropped his backpack and had to run.
And her last words were, "I love you." November 14th was a Thursday. It wasn't a typical day for us. Cindy had blown her ACL in January of last year. All summer, she had been working on kind of building the strength around her knee to kind of prep for this surgery, and we finally booked it for November 14th. And then we had to get out of the house. So we were shooting to try to get out by 5. We got out by 5:10. Because we were in such a hurry, I just hopped in the car. She came and joined me. I didn't go and give Gracie a kiss goodbye like I normally would. So usually on a typical morning, before I'd leave for work or anything, I always went in and snuck a kiss on her cheek. However, unlike her typical day where she would be already downstairs and then Gracie would get up, she did go in and see her. And she went into her room and woke her up and, kind of surprised her because it's like 5:10 at this point. We're running late, but she wanted to say bye to her. She woke her up. She sat right up really quick, like "What, Mom?" Because kind of scared her in her sleep, and said, "Hey, Mom's got her surgery today. I'll be home a little bit later. Are you going to take care of Mama when I get home?" And she's like, "Yeah." Cindy gets wheeled away. I'm sitting there. It's now about 10 after 7 or so at this point. I'm sitting in the surgery center. I had some things I needed to work on, so I pulled out my laptop. Now it's about 7:17 or so, 7:15, 7:17. And I text Gracie, and I said, "Oh, shoot. Mom told me to text you at 6:30, make sure you got up for school." And I had forgotten. And so I said, "Hey, are you up? Are you on your way to school?" And she's like, "Yep, I'm up. We're in the car right now." And I said, "Okay, good." I said, "Mom just went in for her surgery. Should be about 2 to 3 hours, and I'll text you when she's done. I love you." And she says, "Okay, love you too." Every time I get to that point in the story. Because that was the last text I ever get from my daughter.
He ended up leaving before he said bye to me, so I didn't get to see him that morning. The last time I saw him was Wednesday night. That morning, he always rode his bicycle to school, so he went off, rode his bike to school. And around, I think, 7:40, I was taking the younger kids to school when I received a text saying there was some sort of police activity going on in or near the high school.
I was on my way to work when she called me and let me know that there's something going on at the high school. So I immediately turned around and raced home, tried to get over to the high school. I could not get in at all.
This whole time, I just didn't have time to really see what was going on. I kind of thought it was just maybe something happening around the school. I never thought it was something happening at the school.
I get a text from my son, Brady. He's at school, he's a junior, and he says, "Dad, we are on lockdown." And his next text was, "I don't think anything's gonna happen, but just in case, I love you." Okay, we're under lockdown. This has happened before, sadly. So I opened up a group chat and I started texting with Gracie and Brady. And I'm not getting any responses from Gracie, Of course, at this point, I'm still thinking, they're under lockdown. She's got her phone in her backpack. She's maybe got her phone, but their teachers are telling them, be quiet, don't text. We don't want any lights on. Maybe they got the room's dark. I'm not sure what's going on. But it's going through my head like, this isn't odd yet.
Everyone had either heard from their kids or heard from someone else that their kids were okay, but I hadn't heard from Dominic yet. So I figured maybe he just dropped his backpack and had to run.
So I was like, okay, there's definitely something going on. But then I went to SCV Sheriff to see what was going on that Twitter channel. And they announced that, there had been, a possible active shooter going on at Saugus High School, and they had all units rolling.
I kept trying to text him. A friend told me I should get in contact with his closest friends.
Nobody could reach Dominic. Us, and as well as all of our friends were calling him and texting him. And then that's when I started to call his friends to find out. And that's when I found out that one of his friends, Mia, had been shot as well.
Stand by. There's going to be a student in room M1304 that was hit in the abdomen. Once again, room M1304 that was hit in the abdomen.
Since something had happened to her, increased the chance that something could have happened to him, especially since we couldn't reach him.
The odds of something happening to my child in a situation like this is so slim and improbable that I'm still kind of going, even if there is an active shooter, it's not going to happen to my kids.
If you live in the neighborhood near the high school, please lock your doors.
So I'm watching a live feed now of the school, and I'm seeing chaos, and I'm seeing them trying to track what they feel is a shooter who's ran off campus and is now in one of the ravines behind campus. And so it's looking really, really serious now. I'm getting very nervous. I'm texting Gracie, and I'm like, Gracie, you're worrying me. Please respond. And I'm still getting nothing.
I think once I was at the park, someone told me that he had been near where it had happened. So I kind of figured maybe he's a witness. Maybe that's why I haven't been able to get in contact with him yet, because he's being interviewed or questioned, and it's fine. So I would wave at every bus coming, thinking, okay, at least he's gonna know I'm here for him.
A little after 8:05 or so, and I have a bright idea that I'll use Find My iPhone and say, maybe I can just at least figure out where she's at, where her phone's at. And the first time I do it, it's pulsing like 2 blocks off of campus. I do a third Find My iPhone refresh, and now I notice her phone moving down Bouquet Canyon. My daughter's phone is moving away from school. I think she's been kidnapped by the shooter.
Hoping that he'd get off the bus, but he didn't get off of the bus. He never showed up there.
We're busy now doing the reunification with the students with their parents.
They had the idea to go and check at the hospital. Went over to the hospital.
And then finally, at some point, I got the call from my husband that he was one of the injured. And so I raced to the hospital.
And I do a refresh, and now I see it down by Stonefire Grill area. Then I see it turn right on Magic Mountain. And I'm like, what's it doing?
We just thought he was like grazed by a bullet.
And at this point, I have the realization that I know what's going on. She's on her way to the hospital. Henry Male Hospital is right around the corner from there.
And I think at that point, it had been 3 hours since that all occurred.
Doing 70 miles an hour, just wanting to just go 100.
There were a total of 6 victims who were promptly triaged and transported to the local hospitals for treatment.
And I park and I just tear off and I just run straight into the ER. They walk me towards the ER. In the previous year, we had been in the ER for a head injury that I had had. And so I was very familiar with these rooms, and we're heading down the main hallway to the ER. And I remember looking down to the end of the ER where the central corridor is and seeing, it seemed like 15 to 20 doctors in, all of their surgeon gear, all in a circle, just congregating.
And then that's when the doctors told us that he did not look good, and he probably would not survive. And
I've never seen that many surgeons in a room at once. I don't know the order of things, but somewhere in there, one of the surgeons finally comes in, and
We were there for, I think, about a half hour, and then
Don't tell me the news. Don't tell me bad news.
So then the doctors came back a second time and let us know that he did not make it, that he died right there in the hospital. Yeah, without anybody there, without his family there, without his friends there, just survived by a room full of strangers.
We tried everything we could. We worked on her for an hour and a half. We couldn't resuscitate her. She's gone.
I regret to inform it's a sad day in Saugus, it's a sad day in Los Angeles County and the nation for another tragic shooting at a school. At 7:38 this morning, Santa Clarita Sheriff's Station received a 911 call of a shooting at Saugus High School. Within seconds, we received multiple calls, and within 2 minutes at 7:40...
it's just something very hard to accept.
All I'm praying for during this whole time was, let me go see Gracie. Let me go hold her hand.
And we were just denied the ability to be able to see him and like comfort him or even see him after he had died. Can you get 1 second? Sorry. I'm just telling. Yeah, sorry.
Take your time. Get your water.
The detective's in the room at this point, and she's like, I'm sorry, sir, but we cannot do that. And I'll never forget these words, because it's just like words you would never expect to hear. And she says, she's evidence.